What's up guys, Brent here with thedroiddemos.com. Got my Nexus 4, the LG Nexus 4 that has just come out a few weeks ago. People are still getting their orders in. I managed to get one from the first shipment that they sent out. Got it a few days after the first orders went in. And here it is. I showed you the unboxing, but now that I've gotten to use it for a couple weeks, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys a review of the phone, show you everything about it, all of the specs, all of the improvements, interface, hardware, everything about this phone, so you can make a decision on whether it is a phone that you want to get, or just so you can enjoy watching this video to see one of the latest and greatest Android phones available. So again, this is the LG Nexus 4. Samsung made the last one, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus. This has definitely, you can see this has evolved from the Galaxy Nexus. It's still got these rounded corners. This is using the same hardware, more or less, of the Optimus G, but definitely taking a hand from the Galaxy Nexus as well as the Optimus G. Kind of a hybrid phone, I guess you could say. Definitely a lot more solid of a device than the Galaxy Nexus. So the Galaxy Nexus felt, if you're used to Samsung phones, you know they feel kind of plasticky, obviously because they're made of plastic. This phone, the LG Nexus 4, Gorilla Glass front, Gorilla Glass back. If you can see here, it's got that awesome kind of pixelated display, or holographic kind of back. Really cool. Definitely more of a solid phone. When you hold this phone, it feels professional. That's one of the things that I've always kind of given credit to for the iPhone, in that it feels like a solid device. And that's what you're getting here with the Nexus 4. It doesn't feel cheap, doesn't feel like you're using a toy. This definitely feels like you've got a great phone in your hands, and judging by the hardware of it, the glass front and back, it is a solid device. So you've got this kind of a matte, rubbery siding on the outside, and then this kind of chrome metal around the edge like that. The glass, let me go ahead and turn off the screen. The glass is curved on the edge, and that they say is to make it easier for swiping, things like that. 8 megapixel camera, got the power button over here on the right side. Headphone jack is at the top. I prefer it at the bottom, so that was something that I liked about the Nexus, but a lot of phones are putting it on the top. So what are you going to do? Volume rocker on the left side, along with the micro SIM slot. Again, this is a GSM phone. It does have an LTE chip in here, but it only works on one band for some Canadian networks, and you have to do a little hacker moves to get it enabled, but not going to work on LT bands in the US. Except for T-Mobile in the future, when they do get their LTE, it's supposed to be on the same band. But for now, don't even factor LTE into your decision with this phone. You're most likely not going to have a use case for it. But again, GSM phone, so you're going to be able to use it on T-Mobile, AT&T, or your international GSM carriers. So I went ahead and got a T-Mobile micro SIM, and I have their network on here now. It's great in cities with their HSPA plus, 42 megabits down. At least that's the top of the line claims that they have. I can definitely get great speeds. I'll go ahead and turn off Wi-Fi and show you what this is like on their HSPA plus. So I'm in Austin, and they do have their fastest HSPA plus here. So let me go over it as a speed test. We'll go ahead and run a quick speed test just to give you a rough idea of what you're going to get on their network. Really high ping, and for some reason, I guess since I'm not in the city, It's not getting great speeds. But this is their, I mean, this is okay. It's nowhere near what you're going to get on an LTE network, but for anything that you're running on 3G, for example, if you're coming from from Sprint and you don't have WiMAX and you're not in a city with LTE, this is definitely going to be an improvement. And like I said, this is pretty low for what I'm used to getting. Definitely seen over 10 consistently. But again, T-Mobile is specifically great carrier for in the city. If you're not in a major city, you're going to have bad speeds, so take that into account. But let's get back to the phone. 4.7 inch screen versus the 4.65 inch screen that we had on the Galaxy Nexus. S3 is a little bit bigger at 4.8. Feels great. 4.9 ounces, which is just a little bit heavier than the Nexus, and a lot, half an ounce, I think, a couple ounces or a couple tenths of an ounce heavier than the S3. But it doesn't feel heavy, it feels solid. So if you're used to the S3, you'll definitely notice a little difference. It does feel a little heavier, but it feels like a solid device. It doesn't feel like you're getting more weight, it just feels like you're getting a more quality phone. 9.1 millimeters thick, which is again slightly thicker than the Galaxy Nexus, which is at 8.9, and the S3 is at 8.6, so half a millimeter thicker on this right here. It doesn't really, I mean, all of these phones are relatively the same thickness, so you're not gonna be getting anything that's that great of a difference. But again, it does feel a little thicker than the S3 because it is. Got this great 768 by 1280 screen. The Galaxy Nexus was 720, so a little bit wider, and so you'll have to reach a little farther for things, but it's definitely nice to have the extra screen real estate. The thing that bugs me a little is these on-screen keyboards, but that's just me. Some people like them, some people don't. The reason I don't like them is because it takes away the screen real estate. But if that's something that doesn't bother you, great, it's perfect for you. But just something to take into account if that's something that bothers you. But other than that, great screen. IPS LCD, the Galaxy Nexus and S3 are AMOLED, Super AMOLED, so you're not going to get the same blacks that you can get on those phones, and that's something that I have noticed using it. It doesn't have the same contrast capabilities as the Super AMOLED screens, just because it can't display those blacks. But other than that, it's really, really nice. The resolution is great. 318, I believe, PPI, just below what the iPhone Retina display is, so you're getting a great quality screen. The one thing that I have noticed is that playing back YouTube videos is a little poorer quality than I've seen on other phones. I put it right next to the S3, and the S3 pretty much blew it away in the quality that it was receiving, even though they were both receiving high quality or the HD quality videos off of YouTube. For some reason, on some of the videos, the Nexus 4 was not showing as good of a quality as the S3. So I don't know if that just happened to be the videos that I was looking at, but it is something that I have to note on here. Color-wise, however, it's great. When I first switched to this phone, I thought it had a blue tint to it, but after comparing watching videos between this and the S3, it's actually just that the S3 has a lot more saturation. The color levels are a lot higher. It seems like there's a little more green in the S3, but this is just a lot more true color. When watching, like nature videos, the colors that you're going to get on the Nexus 4 are more true, whereas the S3 is just a lot more saturated. Same thing with the Galaxy Nexus. So that was one thing that I had to solve. I was just used to the S3. Switching to this, it looked a little different, but definitely it looks a lot better on here. What do we got under the hood? Snapdragon S4 Pro, 1.5 gigahertz, quad core. what we got under the hood, the Snapdragon S4 Pro 1.5 gigahertz quad core. You're definitely going to feel that. Definitely, if you've watched other videos, people have been mentioning how quick it is. It's definitely very fast. Would I say it's a level above and beyond everything else? Not necessarily, but it's definitely the snappiest phone that I've used so far. Above the One X, above the S3, above the Galaxy Nexus. The Nexus 4 has definitely been a lot snappier. But I wouldn't say that it's so much better that you just have to switch to this phone for the speed. But it's great. I can't say anything bad about it. So there's that. It's very fast. 2 gigabytes of RAM, so that's on par with the S3. 8 or 16 gigabytes of storage, which might be difficult for some people. I know I love to use a micro SD card slot, which this doesn't have, and put all my music on it, and you're not going to be able to do that. Doesn't have that slot, and you can only select from 8 and 16 gigabytes, so definitely take that into account. But if it's okay with you, then it should work out. 8 megapixel camera, like I said before, shoots 1080p video. Not a camera to write home about. The S3, in my opinion, is definitely the best camera so far for an Android phone. This, not so much. It's not as bad as the Galaxy Nexus. The Galaxy Nexus had a terrible camera. At least that's what I thought. But this is definitely an improvement over that, but not the best camera that there is. Something cool, you just tap that for all the options, but you actually don't have to tap there. You can do it anywhere on the screen and just go and select whatever you want. Go ahead and switch that back. And yeah, so that's really cool. Definitely a nice little interface thing that they've added for this. Tap to focus wherever you want. So pretty cool. Once you take a picture, so I'll go ahead and just take a quick picture, tap that. If you go ahead and swipe, that'll take you to your pictures. I can tap on that. And if you go ahead and click this little button on the bottom, we got all these filters that we can use. So pretty much got like Instagram functionality in here. Can change all those very fast into whatever fancy filter I want to use. I can crop, things like that. But I'll go over all those 4.2 features in another video. But pretty good interface for the camera. Not necessarily the best camera, but it will work. It's better than the Galaxy Nexus. So that takes care of all the specs pretty much. Again, the quality of this phone is outstanding. That's my favorite part of it. Out of all the phones I've used so far, the Nexus 4 definitely has the best build quality out of any phone I've ever used. The One X was one of my favorites for a while, but I just love the form factor so much more on the Nexus 4 that it has definitely taken the cake for me on best build quality. And it's the Nexus phone. It's the next series, or the next phone in the series. It's got pure Android Jelly Bean 4.2. So if that's something that is very important for you, this is the phone you need to get. Lots of improvements in this, from the quick settings that you have access to here, to the camera, to the speed. 4.2 definitely has a lot of improvements, and it's definitely a reason to have the phone. I'll go ahead and show you a sample of the YouTube, because I wanted to show you guys what the quality of the video is. I think I have it lined up here. We'll see. I'll jump the video to show you guys. So hopefully that gives you a little idea of what the video looks like on here. Again, I haven't seen as great a quality video viewing on YouTube compared to the other phones. I haven't tried just standard videos put onto the device. I'm sure those would be a lot better, but for some reason it doesn't pull as high of quality YouTube video down as other phones. But just something to take note of. As for the sound, if you were able to hear that, not very good, but I mean, it is a phone, but it's not as great a speaker as other devices have. Battery life is more or less average. It's not the best, and you're not going to get up there like the Razer Max, but it's not bad. It's average. It hits the same spot as pretty much all of the other Android phones, S3, 1X. It's going to be around the same level as all of those phones. So it's going to get you through the day. It's not going to go above and beyond and get you multiple days or things like that. So that's definitely something to take into account, but not something to make or break the phone. But I think that takes care of everything. If there's anything that you want to see, be sure to leave a comment and I'll show you. But I will be making other videos comparing this with the S3, with the Galaxy Nexus, to show you guys every piece of each of these phones, comparing them to show you guys which phone is better in which way. But to leave it on this video, the Nexus 4 is definitely a great advice. What it has going for it, amazing build quality, amazing interface. You're going to get stock Android. The processor is very fast. The speed is amazing. It's very snappy, and the price, $300 unlocked. Any carrier that does GSM. So definitely from a price standpoint, it's a great option. But some of the bad things: the camera isn't great. The battery life isn't above and beyond any other phone. There's no LTE, so if you're coming from an LTE plan, you're not going to like it. But if you're in a city that has T-Mobile's fast HSPA Plus, then it may not matter. I've seen people getting above 15, some near 20, more than that. So if you're able to get those speeds on a T-Mobile plan in your area, you're not going to miss the LTE. But if you're coming from, say, AT&T's LTE in a really fast area, and you just have average HSPA speeds on T-Mobile, it's probably going to bug you. So take that into account into what phone you're coming from. I wouldn't say it's an absolute need to change from one of the other latest Android devices, but it has a lot going for it. So find someone that's got one so you can lay your hands on it. Head to the T-Mobile store if you can. Otherwise, hopefully this video was able to show you as much as it could on what this phone has to offer. Again, I'm Brent with thedroiddemos.com. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get all my future videos that I'll have for this, in comparisons, tutorials, app reviews, everything. Like me on Facebook and Twitter. Those links are in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.